The series begin in two different cities, with Yunbi and Yunbiul, two twin sisters who used to live together in an orphanage, but soon got separated when a rich family adopts Yunbiul and favors Yunbi in the orphanage. Yunbi grows up in the orphanage. She loves children, and because of that, she wants to be a teacher, because she understands their thinking and knows how to deal with them. Because Bai is poor and bullied by a group of rich friends at school, who beat her, insult her, and pour bad-smelling oil on her, she has to change her school uniform, which is already worn out, and put on a sports uniform. As soon as she enters the classroom, all the students smell the oil and bully her, telling her to get out of the classroom immediately. The teacher calls her after class and tells her that if she is being bullied, she has to complain, and they will help her. But she is afraid and denies that she is being bullied. Despite the pressure she is under at school, when she returns to the orphanage, she cares about the children in the orphanage. When she finds out that a girl from the orphanage is being bullied, she decides to help her get her due. So she takes her to the home of the student who bullied her and makes him to say sorry to her. Bai is loved by all the children in the orphanage, and a gift is delivered to Bi, and she is very happy, and she wonders how this person knows her taste and size, as if she lives with her. In another city, Anbi's twin is packing her backpack for the school trip. Yunbiul's adoptive mother loves and cares for her, and before she leaves for her trip, she gives her a shawl to keep her warm. Yunbiul meets the rest of her friends and learns that Han, their classmate, has canceled the trip because he has a contest. So she spends the whole trip listening to the contest until she learns that Han has won and is very happy. Han is Bull's childhood friend, and when Han wins the gold medal, he remembers his promise to Bull as a child that the first gold medal he wins will be a gift to her. So he calls her and tells her that he won the competition. He asks her where she is, and they agree to meet at night. She receives a message that makes her so nervous that the phone falls out of her hand, and when her friend comes out to talk to her, she leaves her and walks away in fear. In the orphanage, Bi is tired, and the one who takes care of her is a little girl, and a group of rich students who are used to bullying her come to the orphanage, but they treat her in a friendly way, as if they love her, and tell her that they are coming to help her when they realize that she is in such bad statement. But as soon as they are alone, they bully her and tease her, and before they leave, one of them, whose name is Sue, says she will call her father to help them at the orphanage. But Bai isn't confident in her words, so she calls her and asks to meet her, and when she meets her, she asks her to be honest and help the orphanage because it needs help. Sue agrees, but asks to use Bai's phone because she forgot her phone at home. When she takes the phone, she calls one of their classmates as Bai and insults her. And when she recognizes Bai, she tells her that she is sick and not normal, and Sue gets nervous and slaps her. When Sue sees the CCTV cameras on the street, she pretends that she is the one defending herself, and Bai is the one trying to hit her, until a piece of wood falls on her, and Bai saves her before she gets hurt. Meanwhile, Bull is quiet and scared all day long. Jin notices her silence and goes after her when she sees her leaving the neighborhood. The next day, she sees a wound on Bull's neck and realizes that it is from the guy she saw beating her yesterday. Bai works at the same cafe, and when Bai's phone rings, she doesn't answer it. Bull leaves frustrated after her sister doesn't answer it. She goes into the bathroom and sneezes, and suddenly the light goes out and she feels the sound of footsteps approaching. Baiul gets scared and looks up and finds something that scares her and makes her scream. Jin hears her friend's voice, but she is too scared to go in, so she continues on her way. All the students go to take a photo before the end of the trip, and by chance, Bi is there with them. They notice her disappearance and calls the school and look for her everywhere, but to no avail, because she has completely disappeared, as if she never existed. They have to call her mother and inform her of the news, and she rushes into town, meets the teacher, and breaks down, begging him to find her daughter as soon as possible. In the meantime, the principal calls her into the office, where she sees Sue, who has filed a complaint saying that she tried to hurt her, and when the principal asks her to apologize to Sue, she refuses, saying that she is not at fault and did not try to hurt her. The principal decides to expel her from school, so Bai leaves the office and goes to the classroom to pick up her tools, where she finds Sue and her classmates standing around gloating about her, so Bai asks her why she hurts her and hates her so much. Sue replies that there is no reason, and that she just hates her for no reason. They catch her and beat her while filming and laughing, and she tries to get away from them until she walks out of the classroom, devastated. She decides to end her life and commit unbelievable from the pressure and bullying she witnessed at school. She throws herself off the bridge and falls into the river and resigns herself to death. But an unknown person appears and rescues her from the river. Meanwhile, Bayul's mother is looking for her everywhere, printing paper with her daughter's photo and distributing it to people on the streets, until she gets a call from a hospital saying that a girl with the same description as her daughter arrived at the hospital today, so the mother runs to the hospital. But when she excels, she realizes that she has forgotten everything, and the doctor tells the mother that she has amnesia, so the mother introduces herself and tells her that her name is Bayul. From then on, she treats herself as Bayul because she has no memory of her past. When Sue meets her in the hospital, she doesn't recognize her, and when Sue tries to beat her and bully her, she stops her, unlike her old personality. Bayul's mother comes to her defense and says that she will call the police, which makes Sue scared and sorry and walks away in disbelief. Han is saddened by Bayul's disappearance and remembers the last time he saw her when he met her on the flight, and that he was the one who stood with her before she disappeared, wanting to give her the medal and fulfill a childhood promise. But he is visibly stressed when he sees her neck wound, and when he asks her about it, she gets angry and tells him that she is no longer young and that she doesn't want him to take care of her and tells to break up with her and leave. In the hospital, a student named Tae, who was climbing a rope at a high altitude, takes pictures and tries to call her B, but she doesn't like it, so he says she's arrogant. When Tang, Bayul's friend, visits, she realizes that Bayul is in the same hospital with him and runs off to tell Han to visit her. When he sees her, he hugs her and tells her that he forgot he was upset with her, but she pushes him away and tells him she has no memory, and Bayul sits down with Tang and Han and tells them that she has amnesia. Bayul returns home with her mother and spends the night looking at her childhood photos, and when she is shocked, her mother tells her that she was adopted from an orphanage and that she knows the truth, but forgot because of her amnesia. The next day, she goes to school and her friends help her take care of the situation. Tang gathers the students at the school and tells them about Bayul's amnesia and asks them to help her recover quickly. Tae arrives at the school after the hospital, and as soon as he enters the school, he causes trouble and fights with the students, and Bayul sees him and thinks he is the same person she saw in the hospital. The teacher hands out the grades, and Bayul is first in her class, and the teacher congratulates her and tells her that she needs to be treated quickly for the final exams. Her friends decide to celebrate at night and Tang forgets her wallet in class, but when she sees Young, she says she'll let her pack it today and pay for it. After school, Tai sees Han and realizes that he is a famous swimmer, and is surprised to learn that Han is in school but doesn't attend because of competitions, so he takes a picture of Tai with him. They are met by the principal, who is friendly with Han, but ignores Tai as if he doesn't exist. Tai returns home, and his father is the principal, but he refuses to let any of the students know that Tai is his son. This is because his father is ashamed of him, because he was in a mental hospital, which makes the relationship between Tai and his father complicated, and makes Tai pick fights in order to annoy his father even more. When Young goes to pay for the drinks with her friends, she is surprised to find that her mother has blocked her bank account due to her excessive expenses, and Young doesn't know how to pay the money. The owner takes them to the police, and they call their teacher, who comes to their rescue, pays the bill, and gets them out of the police station. Bayul talks to Young and offers to go together, but Young refuses, telling her that they have never been true friends and that she has never treated her well. When Young returns home, her mother reports the theft of her jewelry to the police and accuses the maid of stealing it from the house. The next morning, Bayul wakes up very early, so she goes out to play sports and sees Han, who is surprised that she woke up so early because she is used to waking up late. The teacher calls Young and tells her that the cameras caught her selling her mother's jewelry, and that she was the one who stole her mother's jewelry, and Young confesses and tells them the truth. Bayul goes to school and tries to remember her locker number at school, but the teacher asks about it and orders her to open the locker. Because Bayul has forgotten the number, Tai walks away and breaks the lock. Bayul finds the jewelry set, which as soon as Young sees it, she knows it's the jewelry set stolen from her mother, and Byul is shocked when she sees it because she has no idea what it is. Han quickly picks her up and takes her out of school, and when Byul stops him and tells him that she wants to defend herself, he tells her that he's not sure if she didn't really steal it, because her personality before her amnesia was rude and disruptive. The teacher interrogates Young and asks her why Byul stole her mother's jewelry, and informs her that he won't investigate her until her memory comes back, and she can remember everything. When Young's mother realizes that Byul won't investigate her, she gets nervous and comes to the school to ask for an investigation, but Young refuses, telling her that she doesn't have to do that because her friends will hate her more than she is an outcast. The mother is surprised when she hears from her daughter that she is an outcast and asks her about the names of the students who tease her at school. But Young tells her that she has never tried to talk to her or pay attention to her and walks away. Byul tries to get in touch with Young to understand why she stole the jewelry. But Young ignores all her calls and texts and thinks back to her first day at school when Byul saw her, greeted her, and offered to be friends. The next day, Han walks past Byul's house and wishes he could see her. But when she shows up, Byul is behind and they walk together. He sees that the wound on her neck is gone, but she tells him that she didn't have a neck injury, which surprises Han, but he thinks she forgot. When Byul goes to school, she hears the students talking about her and divides into a group that believes she stole the jewelry and a group that believes she didn't steal the jewelry. So much so that Byul herself is not sure if she actually stole the jewelry or not. She comes out and is annoyed when she sees Tai coming down to talk to her and asks him if they were close before, and he tells her that they were never close or friends because they don't like each other. But he tells her a little secret. He is the son of the school's principal. Before she leaves, he confesses to her that the reason they hate each other is because she rejected his letter he wrote to her and made fun of him, which made him think she was arrogant. He opens an investigation with all the students, asking the teachers about Young's behavior, and all the students agree that she was a spendthrift, always spending money on them, without anyone asking for it. At the end of the investigation, Byul sees Young sitting alone in the restroom and thinks back to a simple situation where she saw students teasing her at school. When Byul returns home, she spends some quality time with her mother, and her mother tells her that she hasn't spent time with her in a long time because she was away from her before the incident. Her mother tells her that she learned about what happened at school from other parents, and tells her that she is sure she didn't steal the jewelry, and that she will help her prove it and not let her go. The next day, Tang and her group stand up and talk to Young, asking her why she accused Byul of stealing the jewelry, even though they were sure she didn't steal it. Young tells them that they always treated her like a wallet, that no one liked her, and that they just wanted her money. So she decided to take revenge on everyone for how they treated her, including Byul. After the school day ends, Byul enters the classroom and finds Young there. Byul tells her that she found out that the safe where they found the jewelry was not hers, and that she switched the safes in order to accuse her of theft. Byul asks her why she hates her and wants to get back at her, and Young tells her that she will make her regret all the times she grew up. Young walks out of school thinking about the day Byul found out that Byul was buying everything for them to do business with her. Byul gets upset and tells her that she can't buy it with her own money and breaks up with her. Byul goes to Han and tells him that his plan worked and that she realized the truth and that she had nothing to do with the robbery. They celebrate the revelation and play together by the pool. She falls into the pool, and that's when she recalls everything that happened to her and that she's in Bai, not Byul. She remembers that when she fell into the river and committed suicide, the only person who came to her rescue was Byul. Han rescues her and takes her out of the pool, and she is traumatized after she finds out the truth and starts crying. She searches her house until she finds a picture of her in an orphanage among her sister's books, and when her mother comes in to check on her, Bee hugs her and cries. The next day, Bai goes to school and confesses that she was the one who stole the jewelry, and at the same time, while Young is with the teacher, she admits that she lied and accused Byul. When Young goes to confess to the headmaster, she hears Byul's words about her and admits that she is the reason why Young is an outcast among her peers. When Young goes to class, she finds a letter from Byul in her locker, apologizing for everything she has done to her in the past and offering to be friends with her. Before walking away, Young leaves everyone in the class with a gift, which consists of a cartoon drawing of her, which the students are very happy about. She writes a letter underneath the drawing thanking her for her help, saying goodbye, and promising that they will be friends again someday. Bai goes home with Han and is sad, knowing that everyone treats her like a twin and feels like she stole her life, so she wishes she could get her amnesia back. She leaves Han in the middle of the road and returns home alone, sobbing and thinking back to the time she found her photo in her sister's basement, and her notebook in which she tells Bayul about the first time she saw her mother, who told her that she saw her more than once in the orphanage. When she asks if she wants to live with her, Bayul agrees, and the mother adopts her. But the secret that Bayul has been hiding is that the first time the mother saw her was B. But Bayul lied to her because she wanted to get out of the orphanage and live with her. But she feels guilty that she stole her sister's life, and because of that, she always sold gifts to her sister and used her mother's name. Bayul decides to leave the house and writes a letter to her mother confessing the truth that Bayul was afraid to admit to her. And when the mother reads the letter, she is shocked. She is even more shocked when she realizes that the girl who was with her at home is Bai, which means that her daughter is still missing. At the hospital, B asks who rescued her on the day of the accident and is shocked to learn that they found a body at the scene of the accident and that they recorded the body as Bai, the girl who was living in the orphanage. She realizes that the body was her twin sister and that they were mistaken for each other because of their similarities. The mother goes to the orphanage, where she meets Bai and tells her the shocking news that her daughter, Bayul, is dead. Tae comes home and sees news on TV about his mother, who is a famous actress, and the maid quickly turns off the TV before Tae gets upset and tells that she has prepared a special meal for him for his birthday. He enters his room and remembers the day of his birthday, when he hid under the bed to surprise his parents. But he is surprised when he hears them fighting, and Tae's mother asks for a divorce because of his father's infidelity and tells him that she hates him and even hates her son. From then on, he hates his birthday and refuses to even celebrate it. At the orphanage, Bai apologizes to the mother for being the cause of Bayul's death, but the mother tells her that she is not the cause of her death, and they say goodbye, and the mother tells her to call her if she needs anything. When she gets out of the carriage, the mother remembers all her memories with her and how she used to make her life happy. She gets out of the carriage and hugs Bai and begs her not to leave her and to come back to live with her again and treat her like her daughter. And in front of the mother's tears and pleas, B agrees because she loves her too, and they return home together and try to act normally as if nothing happened. But despite their acting, they don't know how to get used to their new life. The girl puts on her school uniform and promises her sister that she will always think of her and never forget her. She gets on the bus, Han sees her and rides with her, and they go to school together. At school, her friends notice that her handwriting has changed since the accident and think it's due to amnesia. They ask Han if amnesia makes a person forget how to swim. Han tells them that people don't forget their habits and talents when they lose their memory. Bai gets nervous, closes the book, pretends to be tired, and goes to the school clinic, where she meets Tae, who pretends to be tired. Tae asks her if her memory has come back, and she tells him that she will confess to him a secret. She is a liar and lies about everything, including her name. He laughs, doesn't believe her, and tells her that he will tell her an even stronger secret, that his mother is a famous actress, and show her a picture. When they return to class, he hears the students talking about Mother and her new marriage, saying that she has been married 3 times, and that she was previously married to the headmaster of their school. Tae hears the talk about his parents and tries to ignore it, but fails, so Tae fights and beats up the students who were talking about his mother. The other students think that Tae is fighting with them for no reason, except for Bai, who knows the truth, which is that talking about his mother provoked him, so she goes in and tries to separate them, but Tae pushes her too hard and she falls to the ground. Han comes to check on her and argues with him, and the teacher comes in and separates them and takes them to the office. After school, Tang says that B's personality has changed since she lost her memory, and tells her that even on the day of the trip she changed, and that Jin saw her standing with a guy and fighting with him, and the next day, she saw a wound on her neck. Bai remembers Han's words about the wound on her neck and asks him if she met him on the trip, but Han is afraid that she'll think back to that day and break up with him again. So he sulks and says he never saw her. The manager comes home and talks to Tae, telling him to get his papers ready because he's going to study abroad. Tae asks him if he wants to get rid of him like he got rid of him before and threw him in a mental hospital. Tae tells him that everything that happens in his life is because of him, because he knows that his father only loves his fame and that his mother abandoned him, so he slaps him. Tae leaves the house and walks down the street to meet Bee by the river, while Han goes down to meet Bai, gives her the gold medal. He watches her with Tae and teaching her to use the scooter, and then he stands there, annoyed, and watches them. The next morning, the teacher enters the class and informs them that a new student has been transferred to their school. When the student introduces herself, Bai is shocked when she meets Sue, her old schoolmate who has always bullied her, and Sue is shocked when she sees Bai, and Bai thinks that her next few days at school will be difficult.